The topics we discuss are many.
No story too bold to talk about.
Strictly our own opinions.
But they are opinions from people like you.
Welcome to the NAKE'd podcast.
Hey guys, it's Keelan.
You sounded like you're in distress. 11. Welcome to the Naked Podcast, guys. DM Tekka Allen.
Can't wait to see what a Nat 1 does. It's your girl, NJ.
Hey everybody, it's Ethan, and I just want to shout out John. Thanks for joining in on Discord today. Thanks.
Hey.
Yeah. Thanks for being part of the discussion.
Yeah, that was really nice. It was fun to see.
I can unplug my headphones. We're live now.
Oh yeah. I was wondering what that light was.
I'm free.
Oh, I wasn't sure where they were. So it's like last time they started beeping and I had switched to my regular headphones and it's like, nah.
Hey, John's here. What's up?
John! He got us!
John's here.
Oh no! Welcome, John.
I hope you heard a shout out.
Yeah, we gave you a shout out at the beginning of the episode.
Well, let's get started, man. I'm hyped for this one. I know it's gonna be a knockdown drag out. I think I'm ready.
I don't know. I didn't
I
vote
don't
for
think
you.
so.
That's half the problem.
So what's going on in Georgia?
So there's been a lot going around, and I wanted to start this this topic with me saying one thing. I believe in no taxation without representation, right? So let's start it off that. So for one, before we get into this, I think if somebody's paying taxes, they should have a say in the vote. On the other
I
end,
agree.
if you're not paying your taxes, should you be represented? That's my question for everybody. It's a so
And what aspect?
philosophical.
Yeah.
So, and first example, minors, 16 to 18 kids who are working. They get taxes taken out of their checks, but they don't have representation. So, minors working should not be taxed.
Yes, I firmly believe that.
It makes
I can
sense
agree
to
with
me.
that, yeah.
I wouldn't want a 16-year-old voting. I don't think they have the emotional
Or-
capacity to understand.
Or we give them the ability to vote. If they're doing taxes, we do give them ability to vote. But again, they have to show some proof of who they are. And, ideally, the government would have to make a voter database, and you would have to show proof of who you are in order to do that. Or every 16-year-old could go vote. That's, it's a
Yeah.
tricky subject and tricky situation.
So, tell us a little bit about what's going on with Georgia's voting laws.
Yeah.
So Georgia was one of the states that had a lot of questions and a lot of scrutiny after the 2020 election. Some people to this day still don't feel like the voting in Georgia was secure, and some people believed it was very secure. So, in an effort to solve some of the issues that they did have, the GOP of Georgia did pass this new voting law that one of the hot ticket items is voter ID. There's also the process to get an absentee ballot, where to put an absentee ballot, and another item of gifts while people are voting. So those are the three big hot topics. They did vote to allow this bill to say that you need a form of ID, which can be anything from a government issued ID to a power bill, pretty much anything you need, the standard government, you know, stuff they need for little items like that.
Hmm.
Um, another one or another big item that has been misconstrued is the water concept that you're not allowed to eat or drink, which that was proven false. And I know the person who put that out had to retract the article, because it was stated that a polling person could hand you water. Water has to be available to all people voting, provided by the poll place. Really, what they were trying to stop was, you know, me walking up to somebody and go, "Hey, here's a bottle of water. I hope you have fun voting. P.S. That was paid for by so and so. Vote for him," and
That
then
makes
walk off.
sense.
Like
And that has to be
and that
hard
was
to manage, to gauge and check,
Mhm.
to make sure people are
And
at least
so,
being
what is the
honest.
easiest way to solve that issue is just say nobody's allowed to do anything of that manner.
Yeah,
You're
that
not
makes
allowed to
Did
go
sense.
up to
they
people in line and chit chat and give them items.
that's understandable. You're not supposed to, campaign near a polling place for a reason, right? Like it's a sacred ground where you go and do your duty and you don't need any more persuasion than we already have. I can understand that point. So when did they retract that food and water thing? Because what I read earlier was that you couldn't be within 125 feet of a polling place and do that, and then 25 feet within the voting line.
No, so they didn't retract any of the law. It was the article that was being cited about it that was or there was a retraction on the article.
Yeah, I remember that being a really big thing. What, end of January, after the runoff election that they had?
Yeah, there's been a lot of things going around, but yeah, they've had to correct some of the information that was put out. That I think CNN was one of the big ones. I think CNN did the big article about the timing, and that article was then cited by our current president, which we all found out that then CNN had to issue a correction to that story, that the time is you can the time was extended till 7 p.m. So previously there was no time standards throughout the counties,
Hmm.
right? So every county kind of did what they thought were proper. So some polling places would close at 4, some close at 5, 6. Well, this bill states that they have to be open from 9 to 5. They can be open from 7 to 7.
Okay, well, I mean, at least that opens up the voting time issue, because I know that a lot of people, they don't have time to go and vote, and employers here in the States don't really give you time. If you tell them to, they're required to let you. Other than that, I mean, I knew people where I worked at before who would work from like 9 in the morning all the way through 7 p.m.
Yeah. And so the real big hot button issue has been the voter ID. So I know that issue has snowballed, and a lot of major corporations have got involved in the matter, which is a little unsettling to me, that we have major corporations try, like, it's bad enough that they lobby and sway our national Congress, but now they're like squeezing small, like this a state. So we pretty much see major corporations squeezing a state government to do what they want.
Yeah, I don't really understand what corporations have to do with voting laws unless they were trying to push for hidden agendas. And
Yeah.
they should, in my opinion, should just stay completely clear of it. Unless there's like a law that's about big corporations, then that would make sense. But these are voting laws to make sure that citizens can vote and are registered to vote and have the ability to vote.
Well,
Not, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, when it comes to registering to vote, it is difficult. Like here in Texas, you have to go and print out a fucking form, fill it out, mail it in, and wait to see if there's anything wrong. And when you get your thing back, you either have to check for mistakes, as where other states like Washington and California and like I think 29 other states, 27 other states, give me, they allow you to register online on a website.
Well, I don't know where you registered, but for me, I went to the AT&T Center. I walked up, no, I handed them my ID. They double checked my info. I signed the registration card, and I was registered in probably 5 minutes.
I had to mail
I picked up a registration card and I dropped it off at the library, and I got my registration or my voter card within a couple weeks.
I think anytime I have to do anything with my driver's license, they always ask, do you want to register to vote? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm registered, but if not, you can register me again. And I don't even know where my voting card is.
Yeah,
I've never.
I just always
I
use
have
my ID
mine.
here.
I can understand like why like I mentioned this earlier in our Naked Pod discussion. Like I don't know why these ID laws are so contested. Like you have to have some form of ID to do anything. To buy alcohol, tobacco, to swipe your credit card if it's a large enough purchase. Like they have to check your ID. And all other facets. If you go make a new account with the water company or the power company, you have to have some type of ID. So to me, like it's just a no-brainer. And I guess like the other argument to that is that, well, they don't have access to that. And I'm like, how can you not have access to that? Like, like yes, maybe if there is a small or it's a town and there's only one office, like that has to suck, but it's still possible. I think it's like maybe the will or the drive to get one, or maybe it's also education. Maybe people just don't know how to get one, but you need ID to get a job. I don't understand how people just don't have ID. So I
And
really
That's the other thing.
genuinely don't understand. I genuinely don't understand why that's so contested. However, on the other side of that, with these major corporations, I mean, like looking at things that happened last summer, and maybe companies looking within to see what they could do when it comes to like social justice. But this is a voting issue. Like this is a government to working for its people issue. And I don't think that major corporations have a leg up here. Like maybe they have a louder voice, but to me, it's not relevant. Like if Coca-Cola says one thing or another, I don't care. Like Major League Baseball says one thing or another, I don't care. I'm a person that can think for themselves.
and it was funny that one of the things I was talking to Keelan about earlier, that the taxation without representation. You say that, well, does it work in reverse? So it's kind of cold and mean to say, but if you don't have an ID and you don't have a job and you're not paying taxes, why should we consider your opinion when it comes to government matters?
If you're not
What are you
contributing as a citizen.
Well, I think that could be a little bit debated too. I mean, even if let's say it's an illegal immigrant, an undocumented person in the states, right? They are contributing in some way, whether it's some under the table job or out in the farmlands or doing something. But I do think that if you don't have an ID and you're on welfare or whatever the case may be, like whatever that case is, I don't know.
So
I
just
feel
in the
like
state of Georgia, you're not allowed to have, or you have to have a photo ID in order to claim welfare.
Hmm.
That is the state law of Georgia.
well, there you go. Like I don't understand what the ID law is not good, but I don't think that's to say exactly that people who don't have an ID don't contribute anything to society, because maybe they just don't have a pathway to do that. Like by the books or government.
Well, I also think that the idea that because of somebody's race, that they can't have access to the internet or have the knowledge to go to get a driver's license, I don't like that ideology that's being put out. Like claiming that this law is anything like Jim Crow is just way over the top. And I think highly offensive to the people who fought that struggle to get out of Jim Crow.
Good point.
Yeah. Watching Ethan showed me the video earlier of President Biden equating this law to the Jim Crows.
It's such a
And
stretch.
yeah,
It's a stretch.
and it's not, and that's what's so frustrating is it's becoming a race issue when it shouldn't. It's about an underserved population issue, the poverty issue. You know what I mean?
You're
So
exactly right.
instead of protesting this law, why aren't groups leading the charge to meet every requirement? Like, I don't know, what's really stopping, say, the Atlanta DMV from making a vehicle that can travel to low income neighborhoods and help people get photo IDs or process their paperwork, like community outreach and growth rather than just complaining and arguing about it.
Yeah, I can agree
Bookmobiles
with
can be turned into voter mobiles.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
what's
kind
wrong
of
with
like
it?
that. I think this goes back to the conversation we had like in the past about community, right? Like people don't know what it is to be part of a community and helping your fellow neighbors. You know, if this is an issue, if this is a law and you want people to get out there and vote, then instead of being a keyboard warrior, then why don't you do something about it? Organize a group, you know, to help people get registered, send out reminders to, you know, so people know when the absentee ballot is due, you know, making sure that you do workshops or utilize your libraries or things like that. You don't really hear much about that. Like I would much rather hear about an effort like that than, you know, just like, why is it this way? And just arguments. Like let's just work together and help our community.
Give me a pamphlet that tells me what the candidates are about and the bills are about in short, unbiased terms so that I can be educated and confident when I go to make voting decisions instead of being like, well, the wording's a little tricky, but I think it means this. And it's literally the exact opposite because of how the wording is.
all legally. Yeah.
I don't feel like our current administration is getting the same scrutiny. I know we keep always
Right.
saying that, but it's clear, if the 45th president would have. So how long did the fine people's, thing go on, right? Years, the entire presidency. Well, since Joe Biden's become president, or since he's ran for president, he's made some very derogatory comments, right? Like the one where he said, poor kids are just as smart as white kids. Thus, that to me, that says that he thinks anybody that's not white is a poor person, which I do not agree with. I mean, I live in a city where my complexity or complexion is a minority. You know what I mean? So I don't see the world the way they see it. So I'm coming at it a total different because most of my employees are Hispanic. Most of my friends are. It's like I've been a minority my whole life where I am, but that's where I am. It's not the whole country, but it just the the constant attitude that a lot of our current leadership has makes me feel like they are extremely racist. And they might not be like they're gonna go call somebody an N-word on the street racist, but they're the secret racists I think that are even worse because they're in their little cabinet meeting whispering to each other, talking down about people.
I can see that. But I mean,
It's, I guess in my head, it's, for lack of a better term, ignorant racism.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's an Uncle Ruckus racism. Have you ever seen
But
Boondocks?
again, when are we going to say something about it, right? Like, yeah, our 45th president did not always say the most appropriate items, right?
That's like a really
yeah.
nice way of putting it.
That is a really nice way to put it.
But when he at least said it, you could tell that somewhat would come off wrong, right? Like there was a good intention somewhat behind it. Uh, when the 46th president says something, you're just like, whoa, guy. Like your track record is not the best. I mean,
guy.
our current vice president literally called him a racist to his face on the Democratic debate stage.
He's been knocked out of previous presidential races because of the things that he has said that are racist in his early politics.
Just even going back to like some current things that he said, like, about Texas in particular. Like, I don't remember his exact wording, but it was just kind of like
Neanderthal thinking.
Yeah, Neanderthal thinking. And it's like, what do you hope to achieve by that? Like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't a fan of 45, but I'm not a fangirl for Biden either. Like I don't think that you should be a fan of any particular president. Like, you should hold them accountable for their actions. No wonder they delayed Biden's presidential address to the nation, because he's a bumbling idiot. Like, it was low-key embarrassing, and that's our leader.
You just shut
And
up, man.
at that time, right now, the world is in turmoil. We don't see it because we're so busy just paying attention to ourselves. But so when Biden had that press conference, we were having peace negotiations with China. Like we're in some war with them already. It was really awkward the way it went about. And they literally just grandstanded and talked shit to our face the whole time. And they say, look at your leader, like we don't respect you. Putin challenged him to a debate over the stuff going on. And Russia has mobilized their troops and literally we could wake up any day and we could hear that Russia has invaded Ukraine or China's invaded Taiwan. Like that's how razor thin tensions are. But nobody realizes this because we're so focused on our little petty bullshit around here.
I thought China didn't officially recognize Taiwan.
They don't.
They believe in China one policy, so that Thailand, Taiwan, all those little countries, Hong Kong, are all part of China. Well, those countries say they're independent. So, like the day after Joe Biden's first press conference, China flew over Taiwan and into their airspace just to say, "What are you going to do?"
Surprising. Yeah, no,
but,
and
back to Georgia.
Playground.
And before we go back to Georgia, you guys know that NASA recognized Taiwan as a country, and China's kind of pissed off about that right now?
Well, yeah, that was the former administration actually recognized them and gave them a bunch of weapons. So,
but Georgia
kind of didn't like that either.
The weapons in Georgia.
But so one of the major things that are happening in Georgia, like I think right now, I was reading that is $100 million that Georgia is set to lose just from the MLB pulling their bullshit. So the worst part is that our current president was the one like calling them out, saying that like the MLB needs to do this. But I still don't understand why we have major corporations punishing a state for making its own laws.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started on corporations punishing a state when we're not even punishing corporations for data breaches.
Exactly.
Like, did you hear? If you don't mind me doing the segue.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was flawless.
I was trying to bring up corporations for you.
Thank you. Hey, Ryzen, I'm doing pretty good. But corporations. Did you guys hear about the data breach that happened in 2019 over the weekend?
Happened that long ago?
It happened in 2019. They discovered it January of 2020, from what I can tell. Dates are a little off, but it's 533 million accounts of Facebook users from 106 countries, 32 million records on users in the US, 11 million in the UK, and about 6 million in India is what Insider was able to find. but they had established that it was a bot pulling information from the servers, and they patched it up in 2019. But a hacker recently released it for free for anyone to grab. So, I mean, if you find the website where it's posted, you can go in and search your name to see what's there, but it's massive. The biggest data breach we've seen from Facebook, I think.
I was gonna say, is it better, or is it a bigger one than the, what is it? The current one, the Sunset
Sunset.
Oh,
Solar Winds.
the
There
Oh,
you go, Solar
SolarWinds.
Winds.
Oh, no. SolarWinds was, oh my god, that was a fucking nightmare.
What's still going on, right? Solar Winds.
Yes, but they're different types of hacks. See, the Facebook data breach, that's just, dumping information into the wild to cause havoc. It's just a couple of kids or script kiddies, just people who know where to post, grab and paste things, or actual hackers dedicating time to really digging around systems. The SolarWinds hack was completely different. That was on a bigger scale. This one's much smaller, but it's still a significant amount of data. The only bad thing is that comes out of this is all of our data is in the wild. Whether you've used Facebook a long time ago or whether you use it up until 2019, that's data that any person can pick up and use against you.
my data is this like location, like your stuff that you put on your profile? Like, what is it?
So that's the one thing that Facebook has not fully established yet. It's as far as anyone has been able to see, it's like personal. So it's safe to assume that it's probably everything, but it doesn't look like passwords were grabbed. Just general data, first name, last name, usernames, emails, birth dates. Uh, only thing that people from Facebook recommend is changing your password. Security questions.
So
Or
legally,
dropping
what
Facebook.
what does Facebook, like, what kind of consequences would Facebook face like this, or any corporation that has something like this happen? And don't they have to, like, I don't know, like a Freedom of Information Act, like if our information is like compromised, like don't we have the ability to find out? No?
Oh, that
Well, what
freedom.
was the big one Facebook got in trouble for a couple of years ago? Ah, shit, I
Oh,
can't remember that off the top of my head.
I know which one. A lot of people's
Oh, or
password
Mike
is last name.
Zuckerberg look
Yeah,
Mark Zuckerberg look a
but
total
even then,
alien in
after
Congress.
then, they never did anything. Like, I know there's the current antitrust lawsuit going against Facebook,
Uh,
but
I don't, I don't remember which one you're talking about, but I remember there was a big one a couple years ago where Facebook had to go to Congress, right? Like Mark
yeah, because they
Zuckerberg.
let children's information out.
Yeah.
Or they let minors' information out, not children, but minors.
Yeah, and that's even worse. Like no one's allowed to collect any data on anyone under the age of 18%, and even then, it can't be anyone younger than 13. I had to
Bro, Mark
pay.
Zuckerberg looks like an android.
Mm-hmm.
I had to pay money to Nintendo and Google to create the kiddo's email account on Google and to create an account for a Nintendo for him to actually be able to play games. Shut up, Google.
But
My
then
phone's
at the
going.
same time, it's like they continue to cross the line, and all our government ever says is don't do that.
Yeah, but
And then
now,
they cross the line and it's bad. Don't do
yeah,
that.
these companies face no legal repercussions for these type of breaches because they're not at fault, but in the same token, it's their systems that are becoming uh damn it, I had the word and I lost it, that are becoming breached.
Ryzen. He says,
That's my
government
job.
says, don't do that. My job.
No,
Yeah.
honestly, it's getting ridiculous. I know personally, it's been 3 or 4 years now. I deleted all the information I could off of Facebook. I set everything I could to as private as possible, and then I just logged out. I mean, I still use Messenger, but that's about it.
Yeah, you still have the same like Facebook picture from 2 years ago, 3 years ago now.
It
Alan's
was the
keeping
first
track.
time we went to Amarillo.
That's
We went
still
to
2
the
years ago.
steakhouse.
Yeah, it was
Oh, just kidding.
December 2018.
My bad. Well, yeah, it's 3 years ago. Well, almost 3 years. Semantics. Sue me.
Same, but
But
different.
different.
Pretty much.
How was? Oh,
The brisket, it can't. So I didn't have my meat thermometer, so I couldn't tell when it was the perfect moment it came off. So it came out a little dry, but it made a good sandwich for lunch today.
Sounds good.
I'm a little picky about my brisket.
he is. I still don't think I cook a good enough brisket for Ethan over here. Anyway, data breach.
It's,
No legal repercussions. There's nothing that's been brought to like any legal action. At the most, I mean, we could sue Facebook for negligence, especially like allowing for a bot to run for so long. Do they not do regular security checks? Are they not constantly scanning their servers for any irregularities?
Have you or a loved one used Facebook between the years of 2010 to 2021? You may be entitled to compensation.
Pretty
Right?
much.
Just like with the COVID vaccine in
while
a
you
couple of
brisket
years.
is so good, but yeah, it's gonna cost you $300-400.
Oh, one day.
But no, so I know there's been a big charge on the antitrust lawsuit, and now there's a big push to redefine Section 230, and they've been talking about making or giving Facebook, Google, YouTube, and Twitter the classification as a public utility.
But that's not
And I
going to
think that's
happen.
the path. I think that's the easiest and best pathway to do it.
See, we had that opportunity with net neutrality, and piece of shit with the massive Reese's cup like was paid big money to make net neutrality go away.
What was his name? I
NG
forgot.
Pie.
Yeah, Anjeet
The
Pai.
most
Yeah.
hated man in America.
I still hate that man. If he lived here, I would egg his house regularly. I want y'all to
But
know.
yeah, so no, they were talking about that today on some of my research I was doing, and like I think that is the best, that is the most traction that any argument has. That we don't redefine Section 230 or try to revoke it. We just reclassify internet businesses that is there private businesses and then there's utilities like just like how CPS or SAWS or any tell like so what they did to Southwestern Bell is what I think they need to do to Facebook.
But they can't do that. AT&T,
What's
Sprint,
what's stopping them?
T-Mobile, Verizon, Comcast, they've all paid money to be able to control the internet in their own way here in the States. They're not going to
Mhm.
let that go. Well, T-Mobile not so much, but the other companies, yeah. T-Mobile
But
USA is a product of Deutsche Telekom, so they have different standards. And yeah,
yeah, but the question is, so like when are people going to get tired of the push, right? Like
Mhm.
the big titans of the tech world have been pushing and manipulate. And I mean, after the 2020 election, they flat out said, yeah, we made sure the election turned out how we wanted, right? So when is it going to be enough? It's gotten to that point before where people have been fed up and finally did something. When are we going to get to that point?
I've been at that point a couple of years. Like, fun.
Oh yeah.
Like I was always in favor of net neutrality. I was always in favor of making the internet a public utility. Money's too strong on the other side.
What's the argument against the utility? Like, like, would it restrict their power? Would it lessen the burden of these arguments we're having now? Like, what's like the, I guess, like the weight of it?
It's a money factor in terms of infrastructure. Even though AT&T is the leading infrastructure developer for cities, and Comcast as well, being number two, it's they AT&T and Comcast and all the other companies would have to go and upgrade every piece of equipment, retrofit new cables into old tubes, and run new cables to different areas. And a lot of the country doesn't even have fiber. They still have 54K modems.
Oh yeah, coax is still very prevalent in Austin.
Mm-hmm. And that's where the cost factor is. It would cost AT&T and Comcast roughly about $500 million to upgrade everything.
Is that
But
what you're
I
talking
mean,
about with like
so
our power infrastructure? Like it's so outdated. It's similar to that. Oh.
Yeah.
well, that's the biggest thing is so our government's trying to push a big infrastructure bill through right now, which has very little infrastructure in it. It's really another Trojan horse where they're trying to shove a bunch of money and shovel it to the cities that lock down the hardest and hurt their own economies the worst. And it's just like, why isn't you're talking $2 trillion? You can't give us $500 million to do what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like you can't put a government grant for a city to update its to fiber.
Well,
Like
it's
if they had the money, the cities would do it. I run the line. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I agree.
But at the same time, it's these giant corporations that are giving it this very high cost factor so that they can pay themselves out. Like AT&T here in San Antonio is the number one provider, and then they rent out the lines to other the corporation. That's why it's been
So
so hard for us to
how
get Google Fiber.
yeah, how are we going to do anything about that unless we start regulating and restricting what those companies can do?
I agree.
And in order to do that, we have to reclassify them and draw out what their duties are and write everything out.
I agree. Like if you wanted to, you could set up your own infrastructure for $10,000 and get a direct access connection. You'd have to get their own hardware. So it's already possible. So we just need to we need to reclassify it, like you're saying. I agree with you completely. I wasn't trying to fight you.
No,
Just kind of
no, no,
explaining how it
no.
works.
No, you gave it perfect reason. And that's what I'm saying. Like I haven't heard an argument that shuts down making them public utilities. Like that to me, that seems like the most cost effective, logical step rather than breaking up the companies, putting a whole bunch, legislation out the ass.
Mhm.
I think it's just, I think they figured out what they need to do. Now, are they going to be greedy and take the money, or are they going to do what's right?
I think the other side to the coin in this instance is data control. Like AT&T, um trying to think of other bigger data control companies other than
Comcast.
Facebook, Comcast,
But
Google.
again, I don't think
Yeah.
AT&T or Comcast are going, or they're not on the level of interference that some of the other big tech are doing, because AT&T has faced trust laws before. Like they know that they can get their bell rocked if they push too hard.
I like that joke.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because they
So,
bought
because
Southwestern Bell.
yeah, yeah, that's it.
Sorry, that
But
was a
then
layered
again,
joke.
but then again, it's like a lot of company like Google's. I think Google is the worst about it,
Mhm.
and Facebook is second.
Yeah.
And I still use Google. I use YouTube, but that's about it. I don't use any other Google product. And Facebook, I only use Messenger. I don't use any other Facebook product. And it's like, even if you break them up with an antitrust and go after Facebook, it's not going to change anything. The same people are going to control it, just in smaller amounts. You'll make more jobs. That's about it.
Yeah.
Well, Discord might have some jobs with Microsoft. Microsoft is rumored right now to be in talks to try to buy Discord. Discord, on the other hand, it says like, listen, we're not going to comment like on rumors that are unfounded. Like, we're not interested. But
about it.
there has been some speculation. So the more I read about it, the more I do not want Microsoft to deal anything with Discord. I mean, look at Mixer. Mixer failed. Wasn't that a Microsoft platform? And then you're alienating half of your user base with Xbox versus PS5. So what do you guys think?
I think the only reason Microsoft is looking to buy Discord is I can't speak, to acquire some of the technologies behind it to integrate it into just how they integrated the FTL streaming services and technology from Mixer into their Xbox streaming platform.
Sucks to suck for them. Get better engineers.
So when you brought this up, it kind of, I thought about it a little. Discord functions as its own kind of internet in a way. If you think about it, like what
It does.
old school internet, right? So Friendster, think of Friendster, right?
That's so old.
For all you oldens out there,
Rising, I agree. Thank you.
you make your little web page, right? So like we have the official Millennials Discord, plug away.
Join the Discord. We're awesome.
Where you can find, it's like a little shop in a way, like, or not a shop, but like a little boutique, right? Like these are all the things we like and do, blah blah blah, and it's really nice, and it's a way to kind of build your own web page, but I guess an easier way to say it is build your own social media that fits what you want social media to be.
Yeah.
It's niche.
Yeah.
It's niche to you. The phrase I've heard it was that Microsoft is trying to buy the communities, that exist within Discord.
User
Because,
base.
the common misconception of Discord
course.
is that it's just for gamers, and that's just not true. We, yes, we talk a lot about video games, but we host book clubs. We, are gonna try to have a community bar night soon. There's karaoke. People do watch parties. We do watch parties. Like, it's more than just gaming. It's I've really come to really love Discord just because of the functionality of it. It's easy to use, and honestly, if Microsoft is trying to, my fear was if Microsoft is trying to integrate it into Teams, because Teams is awful.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's like the replacement of Slack, right?
Yeah.
It's not
Okay.
good.
Even Slack's kind of
Eh.
falling to the wayside now. What is the newer one that I heard about it the other day, that it's like journalists pretty much build their own little web page, and you can just kind of subscribe to them and see the articles they write. You don't have to go to any websites or anything like that. Or is that Slack? I know.
So these are the alternatives to Slack. And I don't know if these are in order of best to worst, or just random. Google Chat, Chanty, Microsoft Teams, Rocket Chat, Discord, Mattermost, Flock, River, and there's like, counted, what, 8? There's like 6 more.
So, do you think that Microsoft buying Discord is them trying to still hold on to control of the internet in a way?
Yes.
Because we are rapidly moving to a decentralized internet compared to a centralized internet, which we are currently been running on. And do you think that this is like their power grab?
Yeah.
I think honestly, it's their grab for anything at this point. I mean, Skype bust. They had, what did they try to buy recently that didn't go through?
They tried to buy a portion of TikTok for their data usage.
TikTok.
States.
So that's data, right, for TikTok. And yet it's just like they're grasping at straws right now. So they're trying to figure out, like, kind of climb their way back up in a sense. Xbox Live is what it is. Like, it's Game Pass is great and everything, but kind of not really. So honestly, I really think it's just like their last stand to try to come up with something innovative that's already been done.
Yeah. When was the last time anything was innovative? That's a good question.
Oh, I think we asked this last time. The iPod back in 2000. No, 2011.
I mean, did
No,
you
that's the
see that
iPhone.
the Apple
The car or the card?
car, like a two-person electric vehicle that Apple has put out a concept of?
I say
Right.
they've been teasing it for years. Well, it's
Yeah.
like Google tried to come out with Google Glasses, but that ended up being a bust. But
Ah,
now
no, the military
Amazon
bought them
has
up.
their Amazon glasses.
Yeah, no, the U.S. military bought the heads-up Google glasses and they integrated it into the heads-up display of soldiers.
Kind of cool. Gives me Falcon and Winter Soldier vibes.
Another smooth transition.
I was a little salty at first that Ethan wanted to wait 3 weeks to watch this, but then it was totally worth it just binging it the first 3 episodes.
What were your thoughts?
That was really like WandaVision would have been better if they dropped it in sections, like parts, like part one, episode 1, 2, 3, part two, part three, part four.
But I think with that, it would have made sense once they started moving outside of the view of the hex. Because the first 3 episodes where they just show, or the first 2 episodes where they just showed the episodes of WandaVision, those were good as separate episodes. But once they moved out, then yes, I could see where the parts of bringing them together would be better. I enjoyed it for the most part. I thought it was a little action heavy, but did kind of expect that. Falcon and Winter Soldier. Let's go hurt some people. But no, I really enjoyed it.
I think I need to go back and watch all the Captain Americas because there are some things that I was like, wait, who's that? Oh, that guy. And I was a little bit lost.
So I was super upset that in the very first episode, Sam gives the shield away.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was horrible for Sam to do.
Yeah.
It's like when Peter gave the glasses to Mysterio. It's like, why, Peter? Why? Like that was his legacy that he left to you, and the first chance you get, you threw it away.
Well,
See it that way.
I can understand, Sam's feelings not being able to step up to the plate. But what really infuriated me was the government just turned around and put out, a Muppet Captain America.
Oh my god,
John
and I
F.
hate that
Walker.
guy. He's
Fuck that guy.
seriously
So
like
yeah, the theory behind him is that he's gonna be the dark Captain America. So he's gonna go bad.
Yeah.
I can see it. He's power hungry and it's already going to his head. Like, Steve never would have done that. You do not deserve that shield. And don't get me wrong, like, I was a little salty too at Sam for not taking the shield, but I kind of see, like, his point of view too. Like, nobody can replace Steve Rogers. If anything, they should have retired the shield and come up with something, give him a different title, give the guy something else, like, recognize him for who he is, not a legacy that wasn't his, you know?
The other thing that I kind of
But
did like to see throughout the episodes, and is kind of getting a little spoilery. So be warned. I won't give too much detail, but even though John is trying to live up to the Captain America name, no one's showing him the.
he hasn't earned it though.
Don't deserve
either.
it.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve it.
Exactly.
But the fact that Sam did give the shield away without even talking to Bucky,
Yeah.
was a little like caught me off guard
Yeah.
a little bit too. Because hell, Bucky was like, I would have done it. Like he was very adamant that he wanted the shield. Like he's like, let's go take it. Let's just go
Mhm.
get it. So and I've always said that it would have been a great character arc for Bucky. Like that would have been his redemption from all the bad that he did. It would have gave him a chance to, I don't know, redeem himself in his own mind, you know? Because he did, like Steve was the only thing that saved him.
Yeah, true. Like I really like the little attention to detail that they're giving to Bucky, and trying to like come up with a way for him to not the obvious arc, but I guess a different story arc for him. But I agree with Ryzen here. You know, they should have given it to Bucky, but the government wouldn't.
Yeah, no. Like I would have totally been down for the first season of Bucky holding the shield and then him passing it on to Sam.
My favorite thing with Bucky's story right now is when they were talking in the hangar and Sam's all like, "What do you know about Gandalf?" He's like, "I read The Hobbit in 1937 when it came out." He's a nerd.
I liked
loved
his
it.
I like 1940s music.
What about Marvin Gaye? Yeah, I liked him. Steve loved him. It was a nice little interaction.
So to throw a spoiler out there, what did y'all think about the whole Baron Zemo drop?
I didn't expect it, but the minute like he mentioned Baron, I thought, okay, maybe, and then we see Latvia at some point. Okay, I'm excited.
So when he reached in and grabbed that mask, I got so fucking hyped. I was like, hell yeah. We're gonna see the real Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
And then he put it on.
It's not so much taking it off as putting it on, huh?
Yeah, no, Zemo
Oh,
was definitely unexpected. And then him having this very intricate backstory. That's like this is like one of the things I love about Marvel is there really are no small characters. We might see the small parts they play occasionally, but they always have some sort of background that connects to everything else. And it's just it's it's really refreshing in the storytelling aspect. And so getting to see him pull a little bit of power and his end goals, which do we know his end goals right now?
well, in the Winter Soldier, his end goals were to kill all super soldiers.
Okay.
So that was his end goal in the last movie. Currently,
May still be.
he's helping because they're his enemy. Like he wants super soldiers wiped out. So as
The
long as
enemy
he
of
gets his goal, he's happy. Yeah.
Okay.
enemy of your enemy is your.
So I'm not super well versed into the X-Men extended universe, like the whole
Yes.
back page. But there is so in episode 3, yeah. So in episode 3, there was a lot of X-Men Easter eggs, evidently. So it's like they keep throwing every show they put out, they throw all these mutant like WandaVision, they talked about mutation and you'll be a mutant more or less to Spectrum. And now they're throwing out the Weapons Project, which Logan is Weapon X,
Mm-hmm.
so Weapon 10. Uh, so there's a lot of X-Men Easter eggs that they've thrown out. So do you think that we might see a mutant in this, or are mutants still on the horizon?
I think
I
first. Go ahead, NJ.
um I don't think they're going to be able to bring mutants into this now, just because of the fact that they brought Evan Peters' character over. And since they're having him play a new character, Agatha's husband Ralph, that they'll be able to do that unless she was able to bring him, fuck up his mind a little bit to make him think that he's somebody else while having Quicksilver's powers.
That's a good point.
So they're
So
gonna
the
have to figure out how that ties in.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Down the road, or they might still be on the horizon, but at the same time, you know, we more or less saw our first mutant already. Like Spectrum, she is they called her a mutant. Like it's mutating
Yeah.
your DNA. So what's to say that Ralph doesn't get mutated in the for like in Doctor Strange too? Like,
Yeah.
why would you bring Evan Peters in just for a small role?
Exactly.
Like he will only do a role if he really wants to do it and if it's gonna be outrageous. Like he has his standards.
Something we
um,
can count on.
uh, I don't think that we'll see mutants, but the mention of Latvia, they are trying to also integrate the Fantastic Four as well.
I
So
think we'll see them before the mutants.
yeah, we'll definitely see Fantastic Four, at least Doctor Doom first, at some form of level. But
So do you think Doctor Doom could be the power broker?
I no, he Doctor Doom was a lot of things, but he would not abandon his people in Latvia. Yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, but he that doesn't mean just because he well, so he takes over and becomes king. What if he has not taken over yet? What if he is building his empire? What if he's still young?
that's a good point. Yeah, I totally see it happening, but we won't see mutants. I
I would
don't
just
think
say
we'll see
Victor Von
mutants.
Doom sounds like a great pirate name.
Also, sorry, puzzled. I totally called you NJ.
Oh, that's okay. No,
She
but I
wasn't
will be
offended.
interested to see how they Doctor Strange's movies, the multiverse of madness, how it all plays in and ties in together. Because again, that's just one of Marvel's strengths is being able to make it actually work, making sense, and it's not it's outlandish, but it's not so outlandish you're like, okay, I guess it's just movie magic, you know? It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
So that was my other thing that it, does anybody have a guess at who the power broker is? Because clearly the power broker is going to be the big bad of this season.
Mhm.
Hmm. I have no idea who it could be.
Mm-mm.
I think it's gonna be Doctor Doom. Like now that you mention it, I do remember reading a little bit to the Fantastic Four comics, and yeah, you're right. Doctor Doom did take over as king already. I don't know. Maybe it's Logan
Right? That would be awesome.
or Deadpool.
Hugh Jackman comes to be.
That
Deadpool, that'd be good.
would be good.
Yeah, because, well, I was trying to remember. Was Deadpool officially in the weapons project?
Yes. No, wait. Okay, so the crappy X-Men universe from Fox, he was. But in the new one, I don't know.
Yeah, because they try to make him Weapon 11,
Mhm.
but yeah.
I just want the movie with Spider-Man and Deadpool being best friends.
Agreed.
Okay, so how do y'all know about all the stupid Deadpool shit? Like all his like little alter egos, kind of.
I do a little bit.
So there's one that they call Headpool, which
What?
could easily be Weapon 11 coming back in. You just see his little head floating around on a little helicopter.
What?
But yeah, no, I mean that would be my big question is who the power broker is going to be, because you got the vibe like they threw it out there that what's her name, Peggy Carter's niece that
Mhm.
was in the episode.
Oh, I thought it was your
Lauren
granddaughter.
No, it's your
is a
niece.
great niece. I thought.
Oh, my bad, NJ. I told her it was your great granddaughter. It's your great niece.
Yeah, because
Thanks.
at Captain America, when they go to the funeral, she says, "My Aunt Peggy."
Do you think she turned like she's the double agent, like based on
Well,
that one
she's selling
scene?
stolen art, so like I could see her having the knowledge and skill to take over like a crime family. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But at the same time, she was so devoted to Peggy Carter. I don't see her being the big bad.
Yeah.
I mean, unless she's going to get revenge on the US because they refused to pardon her. That really pissed me off. Like, I get why they didn't, but that's still so frustrating.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah. Well, it's like a CIA agent. Just burn the agent, save the agency.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
she was one of Shield's deep undercover operatives.
Oh, Ryzen said Galactus. Sorry.
Galactus.
Galagus. I'm sorry, guys. Oh my god, that's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
would
an
love.
epic.
I would love to see like the Guardians of the Galaxy come across him. Like,
They
not
should come
even
across-
if fight him or anything, but just be like, "What the hell is that?"
But you'd have to introduce the Winter Soldier. Sorry, not the Winter Soldier, the Silver Surfer.
The Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, you got to have the Fantastic Four to bring in the Silver Surfer.
That's why
Dun, dun.
that's why it's Doctor Doom. Locking it in. Let's
Yeah,
go.
no, I could honestly think like this would be a great introduction to bring in the Fantastic Four. Like we were talking about them bringing in the mutants to WandaVision, but at the same time, a lot of people said you could have used those Easter eggs to point towards the Fantastic Four also. So, like when they were talking about the amazing engineer that's going to bring the vehicle, everybody thought it was going to be Mr. Fantastic, and then
Yeah.
it just turned out to be that no name person.
No named
Do we-
bitch.
Do we get to see Chris Evans come back as the Human Torch?
That'd be cool.
I think Chris
So
Evans is done.
That's the other question. Do you think old man Steve will ever show up?
I thought he.
Like-
Oh yeah, he's not. He's
No,
not.
he
passed
doesn't
away
die.
yet,
I mean, yeah,
he's not
he's
dead
just
yet.
fully retired. But you don't think he's gonna show up like at the end of the season and just have a talk with Sam and give Sam a pep talk? You know what I mean?
Probably.
No, one last pep
Or
talk.
like
dead.
couldn't you see the scene, right? Like
So
they're in the
wholesome.
season with Sam going to the park to play some chess, and he sits down at a table, and Steve's sitting there at the table.
No.
What have you
Like
done?
old man Steve.
The new Stanley.
The new
Oh,
Stan
that'd
Lee,
be
aw.
so sweet.
Be perfect.
That's a good one too. Chris Evans becomes the new Stan Lee in the cameos.
So
Old
whenever
man Steve
Ryzen
everywhere.
said Galactus, y'all mentioned, the Guardians running into him. But aren't the Guardians kind of gearing up to see who's
Adam
the gold
Warlock.
bitch? Adam Warlock,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
They're the Guardians as of the second movie are gearing up to come across Adam Warlock. But so Galactus is still a colossal,
Mhm.
right? Just like Ego was, just like the head that they were mining in the first movie in Nowhere, that is also a Colossus. So they've already come across multiples.
Wait. Ego
they-
wasn't a Colossus though. Not in the MCU. He was trying to become a Celestial.
No, but he was
Yeah.
still Celestial in that movie.
Yeah.
But so they even show the other Celestial with the Power Stone. So they've already shown
yeah.
2 or 3 Celestials in Guardians of the Galaxy. So it would just make sense that they would use that to introduce him. Then he comes to Earth, or more or less.
I want to sidebar really fast, guys, because I just thought of a funny joke. So you remember that part in Futurama where Bender's like, "I was a god once." Do you
I
think?
saw.
Do you think? Do you think Thor would they'll come across Galactus and he'll say the same thing and be like, "I know what everybody does."
I know, and half your people died.
That was a
Oh.
dark humor post.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
No,
That was
that's not
good.
dark humor.
That's some dark humor.
Okay,
Yeah,
maybe a
I'm just
solo.
like, I guess for right now we have a reason to keep holding on to Disney Plus.
Oh, and have not to. I know we didn't really mention the topic, but have you guys seen the trailer for that new Loki movie?
I haven't seen it
Yeah,
yet. I
I
heard it was
saw the
awesome.
trailer earlier.
My
So
looks
Loki's
good.
gonna be a
fucking
movie.
No, I thought it was a show. I thought it was a miniseries.
I thought it was a movie.
Oh, I don't.
Well, now I'm even more confused than when WandaVision.
I could be wrong, but I thought it was gonna be a miniseries like WandaVision
heck?
kind of was.
Hang on. Hokey. Oh,
Loki.
Hokey pokey new trailer.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm
Okey-dokey.
Throwing racial
tired.
slurs on the stream.
I what? Oh yeah. I'm sorry. It is a TV series.
Okie dokie,
June.
artichoke Loki.
June 2021. I'm excited. I want to see what it's about. Movie, TV series, whatever. It involves time travel. I'm for it.
And Tom Hiddleston, I'm down. I love Tom Hiddleston.
Heck
He's a great
yeah.
actor.
Great
I
actor.
hope they
yeah.
replaced him with a female.
Did
Even
they?
better.
In the story, they did eventually.
Yeah.
Loki becomes a woman.
Did she have a cool dance move like Tom Hiddleston?
Probably.
So the trailer for the Loki series picks up when he takes the Tesseract at the end of the first Avengers.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think it's the Watchers that he encounters, right?
Hmm
Would make sense.
Yeah, because Stan Lee was officially, his cameo was certified to, he was a Watcher, so they are
So-
canon in the MCU.
The Watchers are like
Perverts.
the time police in Rick and Morty. Those two guys that come around to try to kick his ass for like doing shit and multiple
I was gonna say in
things.
what are the guys in Green Lantern?
Oh
The fucking
yeah,
council.
but
Forget
that's
their
what they
names.
are. Like the Watchers are in charge of making sure that the timeline is correct. And they didn't go They didn't go after the Avengers because the Avengers would eventually place those stones back to where they belong. But Loki took the Tesseract, thus causing
They kind
chain of events.
Why couldn't
it kind
they
of
just
reminds
watch
me.
Thanos?
What was the people in the Umbrella Academy, the agents? What were they called?
Oh, the organization.
Yeah.
Just like the organization.
Organization. That kind of reminds me of them, like keeping time where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So there's this movie called Time Cop. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, the third episode, I'm really excited to see where that conversation's going to lead. Mr. White Wolf, what are you, White Panther? I'm the White Wolf.
Right. So yeah, what are they gonna do about the Black Panther? I mean, clearly, if Chadwick Boseman was still alive, he would have been that cameo, right? At the end of the episode. So now that they don't have him, what are they gonna do? Because you know that they're gonna have to make a trip back to Wakanda now. Like her coming out and finding
Yep.
him means that they're gonna have to make a trip to Wakanda during that. So like, what are they gonna do?
Surrey.
We're gonna find out on Friday, guys.
I just don't see her being the Black Panther. You know what I mean? Like, I like her in her role, like the super smart techie that can solve all the problems. Like, I think she fills that role perfectly. I don't want to see her as a superhero.
Maybe here's a thought. Before Chadwick Boseman passed away, he did some scenes for the series. I don't know though.
It's possible.
It is. That's a good point. How are they gonna explain that? And I wouldn't want them to recast the Black Panther role.
I don't know.
So, Ryzen, if you remember that movie, I'm trying to remember was it Van Damme was the main role character, Time Cop? And I guess we could have Googled it, but
While
yeah.
we're waiting for that, while we're waiting for that answer, yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. We have till Friday till the next episode. Anything else before we do our plugs?
No.
No.
Okay. So, what are y'all doing on Wednesday?
So, Ethan and I kind of talked about it last week, and we had a soft agreed to No Man's Sky permadeath more. You still want to do that this
Yeah.
Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm so excited to just watch Alan build this huge giant base and then it just dissolve away. And see the look on his face.
Look on his face now.
Just walk away.
Right?
Fuck
If
this.
Alan doesn't rage quit, then we're not playing right.
You know how hard it is for me to rage quit shit?
So when it happened to me last time, I literally rage quit and I didn't play the game for like a week.
He punished it.
Oh my
He
god.
was in that corner.
Mhm.
You put it in game jail, just like you do with dice and D&D.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna print D&D dice jails.
Yay! Puzzle, where are you streaming on Thursday?
We will be back at it with my girl Catalyst playing some Final Fantasy 14 online. Ooh, ooh. What are
Nice,
you
that
doing on
sounds good.
Thursday?
I'm going to come back with a little bit more art. And then on Friday, I'm going to stream again twice in 1 week. What? I'm going to be co-streaming with Peach. We're going to be playing some Stardew Valley. We've been playing it offline, and our farm is F-Kiss. So I'm very excited to multi-stream with him. And then
excited too.
no D&D this Saturday. And then y'all stream on Sunday. And then we'll be back on Monday.
Yay.
I'm thinking about. Oh, what are you gonna be playing on Sunday?
It's a great question.
Well, guys.
I usually don't decide until the morning of.
What am I feeling this morning?
Pretty much.
To shoot Ryzen some notes for the little D&D short story I've been writing. So I sent y'all the intro.
I'm super excited about
I
it.
saw it. I got to quickly.
Are you
look
gonna
over
stream it?
No, I was planning on us. I mean, I guess you can watch it in our Discord, but I was just planning on doing it in Discord, just us.
Okay.
I'm excited.
I will be coming back with some more Breath of the Wild on Sunday for a couple. I'm excited for that. I haven't played. I've been itching to play.
I'm excited for downtime this weekend.
I still have to finish my paper.
All right, guys. Who should we rate tonight?
Yeah, we gotta go. Puzzle needs to finish her paper.
Who are we rating?
What about Madly?
Natalie? Oh,
Yeah,
she
it's been a minute.
earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, we could do that.
She
Tell
said,
me why.
Ain't nothing but a Twitch stream.
Tell me why.
We are ending the show early. Now, Ethan, go.
I don't know what to say now.
Thank you for being here.
I love it. That should be our new outro music.
Oh, we'll record it next time, but thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks,
And then we
guys.
get hit with a lawsuit.
Shout out to our producer this week. It is a no, this is NJ. What?
Whoop,
The
whoop.
butt.
Up the butt.
What? In
the
the butt. What?
Wait. I thought it was up the butt. It's in the butt now?
Is it up the butt?
It's always been in the butt.
in the
What?
butt.
In the butt. Yeah.
No, you said up the butt.
Did I?
Don't be trying to change it now.
I don't know what you're talking about anymore. I'm so confused.
Did I say up or in? I'm pretty sure I said in.
You said in. he set up,
Up,
and
yeah.
now he's
See.
trying to change it to make you crazy.
No, no,
That
no,
See?
you
no,
said-
no.
Me.
I totally forgot.
Well, that wraps up another great episode. Thanks for joining us. Find our memes and other great content on Twitter and Instagram at OG_the Naked Pod.
Run over to our website, officialmillennials.com, and you'll find our wonderful blog, some notes here and there from others, and a link to our Patreon, where for $1 you become a patron.
What do we get out of the $1 patron?
All of Alan's love and respect.
I'm okay with that.
And
As
a
long as it's-
handwritten note.
No handwritten note. My handwriting's shitty. While you're on the internet, definitely hop over to our Twitch and Mixer channels. On Twitch, we're Official Millennials. On Mixer, we're Official Mills. We will be trying to do some streaming this summer, so definitely check that out. Maybe we'll have a live show, and I will be doing streaming Mondays and Thursdays over at Mixer and Twitch. My handle is PeachZ90.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can find all of our episodes with a little extra fun mixed in. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, we love you.
This is an Official Millennials production.